Hello and welcome to Strategic Business Leader online classes for December 2018 examination. I am Kashif Kamran, your tutor. First of all, uh, I would like to welcome you all for these first online classes for Strategic Business Leader exams, which itself is a very new phenomena. We have just seen the first exam sitting of Strategic Business Leader exams in September, and you will be the second one appearing for the Strategic Business Leader exams in December. So I welcome you all to these online classes for SBL, and I wish you best of luck for your exams in December. And along with my colleague Ijaz Khan, will be rigorously preparing you for this challenge you have to face in December exams. Now, strategic business leader is like an is an extremely different paper. And in the first half an hour of my presentation today, I would just be demonstrating what this paper is and what sort of a temperament you should have to prepare for strategic business leader paper. Now, let's start to understand the strategic business leader paper. And throughout your association with these online classes, myself and Mr. Ijaz, who's taking the remainder 50% syllabus, will be guiding you about the do's and don'ts of the strategic business leader exams, and you will be polished and prepared by the mid of November to handle and tackle the strategic business leader exams. Okay, so let's start on with the formalities and let's start on with the introduction to the strategic business leader paper. Just a quick overview of my tutor profile. I am Kashif Kamran. I am a fellow chartered certified accountant. I do have a certificate in international auditing, and I am also a CA finalist from the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Pakistan. Now, I am teaching the papers F8, P1, and P7 since over 10 years. And one of my reasons of taking on this challenge of SBL physically and online was my association with P1 paper. Now, it is too early, but there is a journal philosophy or a journal mindset which is existing among students that the SBL paper is basically a combination of the P1 and P3 paper. That is true. That is true. I cannot negate that concept. And one of my inclination of teaching this SBL paper was my strong association with the P1 paper. And the areas I have picked in the syllabus, along with my colleague Ijaz Khan, are those areas which are fundamental to the P1 exams earlier. And there are a lot of areas which is in my domain when I progress with my syllabus, which comes from F8 and P7. There is a lot of internal control and audit area in the SBL exam, and that is one of my dominating areas: the internal controls, audit, risk and governance. These are my focal areas. These are my strong areas, and I get to know all about these areas: risk, internal control, corporate governance. These are all areas which have come through my prior association of teaching from F8, P1, and P7. Now we know obviously P1 is no more there, right? And it has now been replaced with the SBL exams, and that's what I am teaching now. So I try to bring my best of my experience, my practical experience, and my knowledge experience to deliver one of the best online sessions for strategic business leader exams. I am currently associated at the Tabani School of Accountancy, which is a platinum approved learning provider of ACCA in Karachi, Pakistan. I have worked for 6 years at Deloitte, Pakistan prior to joining education, and now since over 10 years, I am associated with ACCA education. One of my critical success factor is my exam focused teaching style, and that is so true for the SBL paper. The SBL paper has to be taught in an exam focused teaching style for it to be effective, and for the students to understand the real exam rigor of the strategic business leader exam. So this was just my short profile to introduce myself to all of you, because a lot of you, uh, a lot of you virtual attendees might be taking my sessions for the first time. Now, knowing about me, the more important thing is knowing about the paper, the strategic business leader paper. So let's start understanding the basics of the strategic business leader paper. Now, in terms of the syllabus, when you look at the syllabus of the strategic business leader paper, the syllabus is divided into 8 parts. You can see the 8 boxes in front of your screen, and those 8 boxes are the 8 syllabus areas. And you can see that 4 syllabus areas have been highlighted in dark blue color. These are my responsibilities, right? In terms of the syllabus, you can see in front of your screen, the syllabus includes leadership, the syllabus includes governance, the syllabus includes strategy, it includes risk, it includes technology and the data analytics, it includes the organizational control and audit, it includes finance in planning and decision making, and it includes innovation, performance excellence, and change management. Now, I have 4 areas. Mr. Rijaz have 4 areas. So my 4 areas are in the dark blue. Leadership is my area, right? And my initials are KK, Kashif Kamran. Governance is my area. Risk is my area. And organizational control is my area. And that's where I am strong, right? That's where I have the P1, that's where I have the F8, that's where I have the P7. And the areas in white, the strategy area will be taken by EK, Ijaz Khan. Technology will be taken by Ijaz Khan, EK. Finance will be taken by Ijaz Khan, EK. And innovation, performance excellence, and change management will also be taken by Ijaz Khan. So it is exactly half the syllabus with me and half the syllabus with my colleague. So that sets the syllabus area, right? Now technically, if you look at the syllabus area, there are many things in the syllabus area which relates with your prior study of ACCA. Governance is not a new area at all, right? Governance is such a transforming area in ACCA qualification. The student starts to feel governance as early as the F1 exams. And then the student gets to know more about governance in the F4 paper. Then the student gets to know more about governance in the F8 paper. And then in the P1 paper, which is no more and has been replaced with SBL. But governance has been a transforming phase in ACCA qualification, and the maximization of governance will come into the SBL exams. Leadership is such a natural topic. Leadership is the same leadership you must have explored when you started your ACCA journey with the F1 paper. In the F1 paper, there is an emphasizable topic known as leadership, and that leadership has now been carried forward to the SBL exam. But obviously the exam rigor with leadership has changed a lot. But I cannot say leadership and governance are new syllabus areas, because they have been evolving areas. They have been transforming areas from the F1 paper to the SBL paper. Same goes with risk. If I need to strongly connect risk with some paper, I will strongly connect risk with the F9 paper. I think it is the F9 paper which gives you a better insight of risk management. It is the F9 paper which gives you a better emphasis of risk management. So if you have a good command on F9 paper and you are technically sound on risk, then you will be liking the topic risk a lot. And then there is something known as organizational control. and audit. Now, reaching the SBL exams in the F1 paper, organizational control and audit, in the F8 paper, the organizational controls and audit, and now in the SBL paper. So again, this is an area which is a transforming area. In an ACCA qualification, you cannot expect the qualification without an organizational control and audit area. This is such a fundamental pillar of ACCA qualification. So the 4 areas in blue are my responsibility, right? And the 4 areas in white are the responsibility of Mr. Ijaz Khan. And once he starts off with his classes from Monday, he will be giving you a better insight of his syllabus areas. Now moving onwards from the syllabus of this SBL exam, which is technically not much, technically 4 areas with me and 4 areas with Mr. Ijaz will have a very smooth journey on the coverage of the syllabus. But believe me, it is not the coverage of the syllabus which will get you success in SBL exam, it is the practice. Till the time the practice does not start in the classroom, only the knowledge cannot be your success factor. Once the practice starts in these online classes, once we come across the specimen exams, which has been uploaded by ACCA, and once we come across the actual exam, which happened in September first week, then only you will understand the rigor of this exam paper. Now, this is my analysis of the syllabus. These are 4 areas which I have to take: leadership, governance, risk, and organizational control and audit. If I just quickly break down these 4 areas, just to give you an insight, what is within each of the syllabus area. When I start with leadership, the leadership includes qualities of leadership. Leadership includes leadership and the organizational culture. The leadership includes professionalism, ethical codes, and public interest. So there are 3 broad areas under leadership: the qualities of leadership, the leadership and the organizational culture, professionalism, ethical code, and the public interest. Then when I look inside governance, the governance includes agency, stakeholder analysis, and social responsibility, governance scope and approaches, reporting to stakeholders, board of directors, and a public sector governance. Then inside risk, it includes identification, assessment, and measurement of risk. Then managing, monitoring, and mitigating risk. So that's a complete overview of risk. Then inside the organizational control and audit, it includes management and the internal control system. So you will get to know about the basic internal control system, which you must have studied in the FH paper. Then audit and compliance, getting to know about the internal auditor, and then internal control and management reporting. How does the management reports control to the shareholder, or how does the management report controls to the stakeholder? So these are 4 areas which belongs to me in terms of the strategic business leader exams. So this slide will give you a deep analysis of your syllabus, which is associated with me. Now comes the most important thing. What is SBL? It is P1 and P3. Okay, that's good enough. That is knowledge. But what is SBL is right in front of you. The way the strategic business leader exam will be examined is the challenge, is where you has to be good as a student. Now, there will be a real world case study, which could be on 12 plus pages, approximately 12 to 14 pages of a real world case study. And this will be one case study, right? This is integrated case study. So a 100 marks case study, I'll just be showing you the real exam after completing my presentation, and that will really give you an idea how much you have to read, and how much you have to plan for getting a good answer. And I'll be telling you the way of utilizing the time in the SBL exam. But it is a real world case spread over 12 pages or more than 12 pages. It could be 13 to 14 pages. And the ACCA examining team has given you 4 hours. So that is very unusual, right? We are equipped with 3 hours and 15 minutes. We are equipped with 3 hours and 15 minutes in each of our ACCA paper. But over here we have 4 hours, and 4 hours includes everything. How much time you spend on reading, it's your flexibility. How much time you spend on planning, it's your flexibility. How much time you spend on writing is your flexibility. You have 4 hours. Now you have to use these 4 hours. You are flexible to use these 4 hours. There is no limits. The only limit is 4 hours. Within the 4 hours, do whatever you want to do. And you have 100 marks. Now, the breakdown of 100 marks is, in these 100 marks, 80 marks are technical. 80 marks are the technical marks. The technical marks means the marks which relates with your syllabus, the marks which relates with strategy, the marks which relates with risk, the marks which relates with leadership, the marks which relates with governance. So technical marks, where you have to be good on your syllabus, where you have to be good on your uh, content of the classroom. But there are 20 professional skill marks. This is very, very important. There are 20 professional skills marks. There are 80 technical marks. Under every requirement, A, B, C, D, E, the examiner will ask you to utilize one skill, and to utilize that skill and to present the answer in that way will give you those 20 professional skills mark. Now I have to demonstrate that, right? In terms of the paper format, it's a 12 plus pages case study. You have 4 hours to attempt it. You have 100 marks to grab. You have 80 technical marks out of the 100, and you have 20 professional skills mark. Now the challenge is this. The challenge is this. This is the critical success factor. You cannot pass your SBL exams without demonstrating the professional skills. You will fail your SBL exam if you're weak on your professional skills. Those 20 marks is playing a crucial part in your success and failing. So I need to demonstrate you what basically professional skill marks are. How would you take them? How would you gain them? And how would you go about it? Okay, now just before taking you to something very important, let me wind up one thing, and then I'll make use of the Microsoft Word to demonstrate how this all will get through in 4 hours. If I look at the professional skills, there are 5 professional skills. There are 5 professional skills, and I made a mnemonic of the professional skills known as C case. These are 5 professional skills you should know. C case. The first C is the communication. So communication is one of the skill. Then the second skill is the commercial acumen, which you have to demonstrate in the exam paper. Then there is a skill known as skepticism. You have to demonstrate skepticism when you are portraying your answer. Then there is a skill known as analysis, like financial analysis, like ratio analysis. So a lot of financial analysis could be part of your paper, a lot of ratio analysis, uh, getting into numbers, digging the numbers, analyzing the numbers. So a lot of financial analysis, right? That is the syllabus area which relates with Mr. Ijaz Khan. And evaluation. Evaluation is another professional skill, evaluating something. Now, that depends upon what the examiner likes you to evaluate in the exam paper. But these are the skills. You need to demonstrate the communication skills. You need to demonstrate the commercial acumen. You need to demonstrate skepticism. You need to demonstrate analysis. You need to be demonstrating evaluation. These are 5 skills part of a 100 marks paper, and these are the skills which will remain the focal point of the lectures to continue, because these skills have to be imparted among all of you. Because if these skills are imparted and you understand these skills, your survival rate in the SBL exams becomes good. And if you are weaker on these skills and weaker on the application of these skills, you will struggle. Now, how to go about it? We know there are 80 technical marks, right? And we know there are 20 professional skills marks. And what are professional skills mark? The 5 in front of you. Now let's see how realistically can we utilize all of this and make success in a strategic business leader exam. Okay, let me do an analysis which will really help you. Okay, now this is the Word file in front of your screen, and I'll be using this Word file on a regular basis throughout my sessions. And on a daily basis, this Word file will be shared with you on the WhatsApp group. So it's up to you. You are noting something from this or not. Irrespective of that, I'll be typing on this Word file, and I'll be saving this Word file at the end of my lecture, and I will be posting it on the WhatsApp group immediately. And along with that, you will be getting the recordings for each day. Okay, let's start with the day one of these classes. And the very first thing we're understanding today on day one is we're understanding the paper. Now, in terms of the paper, the first thing we know in this paper is it's a 12 plus pages of case study. And this is one integrated case study, not divided into one integrated case study, spread over 12 pages. And with that, you have 4 hours. This 4 hours includes everything, right? This 4 hours includes your reading time. This 4 hour includes your planning time. This 4 hours includes your writing time. And now it's up to you how you utilize it. And then I'll be giving you some suggestions, right, shortly. Then after 4 hours, you have 100 marks to score. And your 100 marks have been divided into 2 parts. You have 80 marks, which ACCA says these are technical marks. And then ACCA says there are 20 marks, which are marks allocated to professional skills. And the professional skills are divided into 5 parts: communication, commercial acumen, analysis, skepticism, and evaluation. So you have to apply the professional skills mark, which is in terms of a mnemonic known as CCASE: commercial acumen, communication, analysis, skepticism, evaluation. Obviously, in the later classes, we'll be exploring whenever there is a need of a skill, we'll explore that skill. And obviously, by the end of the syllabus, you will be good on every skill and on demonstrating every skill. So these are 20 professional skills mark, and it's too early to tell you how to go about them, because they will be coming in unique lectures later, and every unique lecture will cover each one of those skills thoroughly. But this is how things looks like. Now understand one thing: your success in this paper depends upon planning the case, and your success in this paper depends upon adaptation to the circumstances. If one student can do these 2 things, you can plan the case effectively. You can plan the case effectively. Your survival rate is higher. Your survival rate is higher, right? It is normally recommended. It is normally recommended. How much time should we give to planning? And ACCA says 1/4 of the total time should be given to planning. 1/4 of the total time should be given to reading and planning. Now that is very simple. If you give 1/4 of your time to reading and planning and you keep 3/4 time to write, you are coming closer to success. Now, what is that basically? That is very simple. 1/4 of the time means you have 1 hour for reading and planning. The case, it is a 12 plus pages, right? And you have to go inside the case and you have to drill the case. You have to be reflective in the case study. You have to identify things from the case study. That will take so much time. The whole 1 hour you are reading, planning, identifying, underlining, circling, you're finding things, you're finding facts, you're preparing yourself to attack. When will you attack? 3/4 time. The 3/4 of the time, which is 3 hours, and you have 3 hours for writing. You have 3 hours for writing, 100 marks answer. 100 marks. So that means we have how much time? 3 hours is equal to 180 minutes, right? So we have 180 minutes to write the answers of 100 marks paper. And if we divide that by 100 marks, so that means we have 1 minute, 1.80 per mark. So we have 1 minute and 80 seconds per mark. That's good enough. That's very good enough. So this is a simplistic thing you can do in the exam paper. You say, okay, I have 4 hours. For the first 1 hour, I'll just be reading, understanding, thoroughly analyzing things, and then I'll not be looking in terms of writing anything. And after 1 hour has been done and you're mentally prepared, you know everything, you know what is to be done, you know what is the requirement of the question, and you've read the case, now you would start writing the answer. But remember one thing, when you're writing the answer, the answer you're writing should be adaptive, adaptive to the case. Adaptive to the case. You're doing a strategic business leader exam. You need to adapt to the case. You need to adapt to the circumstances given. The more you adapt, the closer you are to success. So you need to adapt. You need to adapt to circumstances. And any student who's good on adaptation will survive. So adaptation is very, very important. You cannot just write a journal answer, right? Because understand what adaptation is. When you're writing an answer with adaptation, the adaptation means sometime you need to demonstrate different roles. You need to demonstrate different roles within each part of the case study, within each part of the case. I just explained that. Then the second adaptation, you need to demonstrate different communication styles. You need to demonstrate different skills within each part. So the 100 marks can be divided into A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, for example, in one part, the examiner says, you are a management consultant. So you have to play the role. In the second part, the examiner says you are an expert preparing a feasibility. You are an IT expert. You are the finance director. Examiner will bring you to different roles and different requirements. Sometime he will say you are this. The next time he will say you are this. If you cannot change the circumstances, you will fail. If he says you are a management consultant, then you have to think like a management consultant. If he says you are an expert, then you have to think like an expert. If you are an IT expert, if you're a finance director, so the roles, you have to role play. The one who is good in role playing will survive. Then you have to demonstrate different communication styles. Sometimes the examiner will say, write a memo. Sometimes the examiner will say, write a report. Sometimes the examiner will say, write a briefing note. Sometimes the examiner will say, prepare a presentation. Prepare a presentation to be delivered. Imagine the communication styles in the practical business world. Preparing memos, reports, briefing notes, preparing a presentation to be delivered. See what the examiner is asking you. You have to have different roles first, then different communication styles, and then different skills. And you know the different skills, right? The different skills is again the C case. The C case we just discussed above. Communication, analysis, skepticism. So in one question of like, suppose the requirement A is for 20 marks, and in the requirement A for 20 marks, the examiner is saying you are a management consultant, first thing, and then the examiner says you have to prepare a memo, second, and third he says you need to demonstrate a commercial acumen skill, three things. So what is adaptation? I hope you're getting a meaning of adaptation. Adaptation is equal to what? Adaptation is equal to the role you have to play. Adaptation is equal to the communication style, and adaptation is equal to the skills, is equal to success. I hope you're getting my message very clear that your success in this paper depends upon planning time. 1/4 of the time should be spent on planning, and I'm closer to showing you the real exam paper. Then you can imagine how big that is and what's the importance of spending 1 hour on just analyzing the case. Is that clear to everyone? I'm now putting in front of you a specimen exam to demonstrate you how it looks like before I start on with my syllabus. Now, first of all, there is one thing which is very, very important, which I would encourage all of you to start reading from the very first class today, because that will take time to understand and that will take time to absorb. This is not something easy you can absorb in like a week and 10 days. There was an article which I will be sharing on the WhatsApp group with all of you, which is right in front of your screen here. You can see this. Embracing change, shaping future, strategic business leader. The importance of effective communication. The importance of effective communication. The importance of effective communication. This has been written by ACCA, and within this They are telling you, this is something you have to read, right? They're telling you all about letters, emails, and memos. They are telling you all about writing reports, how to go about writing reports. They're telling you all about writing a presentation, slides, and notes, how to write presentation slides and notes. They're giving you the formats. They're giving you the formats of the report. They're giving you the way to write a slide. See, they're illustrating how to write a slide in the exam paper. You have to read the narrative. Then on the next page, they are telling you that in the exam paper, you have to use the visual aids such as grids and heat maps. In the exam, if you are doing a question on a BCG matrix, then you have to make a visual aid of the BCG matrix and relate that to the case study. If you are doing a stakeholder analysis in the exam paper, you will need to make the Menlo matrix, and you will then fit the stakeholders within the Menlo matrix. So you have to make use of the visual aids such as grids or heat maps. And there are many visual aids in your course. Some are with me and some are with Mr. Rajaz. Then on the next page, the examiner is telling us how to write a press release. If the examiner says prepare a press release, how should we prepare a press release? Then the examiner is saying you should also know how to write a project initiation document. This relates with Mr. Rajaz's syllabus, right? Project initiation document. How to prepare a PID. What is PID? You should know about this. Then the examiner is telling about journal professionalism. How can we demonstrate journal professionalism in the SBL exam? So please, this article is a very, very important article. It is an article which is on effective communication for SBL. This is a 9-page article, and you will absorb this over time. You cannot just absorb it in a day or two. Read it, understand it, keep absorbing it, and wait for practice. Wait for practice to start in the classroom, right? So I'll be sharing this article with all of you once I complete my live session today, and I'll be putting this on the WhatsApp group for all of you to read and start reading and make a plan that I should complete reading this article in like 15 days, in like 20 days, and I should know how to write a report. I should know how to write a presentation. I should know how to write a memo. I should know how to write a project initiation report, and so on and so forth. So this is one very valuable resource, right, which I will be sharing with all of you. Secondly, right in front of your screen is a specimen exam. There are 3 specimen exams being uploaded by ACCA. Now there is an actual September exam as well. Now this is a specimen exam 2, which was released by ACCA for SBL preparation. Let's see how this has been structured. On the very first page of your SBL exam, you can see this. It says you have 4 hours reading, planning, and reflective time. Reflective time means your writing time, right? So you have 4 hours including reading, planning, and reflective time. And obviously you have total of 100 marks, and the examiner is saying you have an integrated case study. So the instructions are given, right? Then you go to the second page and you can see the introduction. I'm just reading through some of the paragraphs to just give you a feel how it starts and what you should be doing. On the very first page of the case study, you will see an overview of the company on which the examiner is constructing the case. Over here, the examiner is constructing a case on a rail company, and it says rail company is a public sector rail company responsible for delivering passenger rail services within B land. Rail company is governed by the supreme governing committee known as the Rail Company Trust Board. And then you can see the structure, the organizational structure given. Under the organizational structure, the examiner is telling more about the rail company. And then the more important thing, which you will see in every case study on the first page, whether it is a specimen exam or it is the actual exam, the, the case study will start with the introduction of the company. And within the first page, on the first page, after the introduction of the company, you will see this. You will see the exhibits. See, there are 6 exhibits. Exhibit means the annexures. There are 6 annexures to this case study, and each annexure covers one information. So you have to read each and every exhibit. Now, the first exhibit is telling us about website page for rail company leadership and governance. So if I want to know something about the website page for rail company and leadership and governance, I'll go to the exhibit 1. The exhibit 2 is about transport report published in the B-Land newspaper. Exhibit 3 is about the passenger survey. Exhibit 4 is about the minutes of the board meetings. The exhibit 5 is the outline, person specification, and summary CVs for 2 candidates. So that means you are in the interview process and there is a summary of the 2 candidate CVs in the exhibit 5. And in the exhibit 6, there are ticket sales, passenger usage data, and the fraud analysis at the station in town with region 1, so on and so forth. So every exhibit is giving you a unique information. And there are 6 exhibit means there are 6 annexure to the introduction. The introduction is coming on the first page, which has 6 exhibits. And this is how things have to be structured. Now, when you go down under the exhibit, now comes the requirements which you have to do as a student. The case requirements are as follow. Now the examiner is telling you what you should be doing for gaining the 100 marks. Now see, I will be doing each and every requirement with you to give you an understanding how important adaptation is. Role play, style of communication, and the skills. See how the examiner gives you that in each and every requirement. In the first requirement, it says, you are a non-executive member and a chairman of the nomination committee. So see what role is the examiner giving you. You are a non-executive member and a chairman of the nomination and corporate governance committee. So has the examiner given you the role? First go. So examiner has given you the role. Okay, now what you have to do? You have been asked to prepare a briefing paper. So you have to prepare a briefing paper. See, have you got the communication style? You got the role, or you got the style. The style is briefing paper. So I or you are a non-executive member and a chairman of the nomination committee, and I or you have to prepare a briefing note, and the briefing note should identify number A, number B. So you have to write a briefing note on A and B. And can you see the professional skills coming under A? For the A, the examiner is saying professional skill marks are available for demonstrating communication skills in clarifying the agency relationship in the board company. So which skill you have to use out of the C case? You have to demonstrate communication skill. So we got the briefing paper, but in the briefing paper, we have to demonstrate the skill, the communication skill. And then in the B part, the examiner says, professional skill marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skills. So how many marks we have for the first part? 18. And in these 18 marks, we have to prepare a briefing note, we have to play a role of a non-executive chairman, and we have to demonstrate communication skill, and we have to demonstrate an evaluation skill. So I hope you're just getting an understanding of this. Let me take you to the Word file, just giving you an example here. If you just take an example from the specimen paper 2, and we look at the requirement 1, which is for 18 marks. The requirement 1 for 18 marks is telling us, number 1, our role. Our role is we are a non-executive director and we're representing a nomination committee. Secondly, it's telling us about the style, which style we have to follow. Style to present the answer. Style to present the answer. The style to present the answer is a briefing note. And then the skills we should use. The skills we should use is communication skills plus evaluation skills. I hope you're understanding my analysis above. Adaptation. So first we need to adapt for role, right? Then we need to adapt for the briefing note, and then we need to adapt for the communication skills and evaluations within. Sorry for that inconvenience. There was some voice disconnection. So we were discussing how to go about the requirements, right? So you will keep reading the requirements, and in every requirement you will see your role, the style to present the answer, and the skills. And where the requirements will end, you will see the exhibits. So the very first page will give you the introduction of the company, and the very first page will give you an insight of the exhibits. And then on the second, third, and fourth page, likely you will see the requirements, what you have to do. Requirements have to be read carefully within the 1 hour of reading and planning time. And then you can see that from the page number 6 of the specimen exams, we are seeing the exhibit. The exhibit 1 is giving us about some information about the website of the company. Then the exhibit 2 is giving us information about the report which appeared in the newspaper. So this is an extract of the newspaper coming in the exhibit 2. Then in the exhibit 3, you can see some financial analysis. Then in the exhibit 4, you can see the minutes of the board meetings. And in the exhibit number 5, you can see some summaries of the resumes you got for the position of the chief executive. So you can see the caliber and competence of the person coming in that. See, there are 2 CVs, right? CV for candidate A and CV for candidate B, which has been summed up in the exhibit 5. And in the last exhibit, you can see some more financial analysis of this rail company. And the exhibit 6 then ends on page 14. So see, 14 pages, leave aside the title page, 13 pages. 1 hour. You have to read all this. You need to understand all this. You need to you need to determine what role you have to play, how many roles you have to play. You need to determine the style of writing answer. Sometime you will be writing a letter, sometime you will be writing a memo, sometime you will be writing a briefing note. So within 100 marks paper, imagine how many formats are you writing. Then the skills. Sometime you will be demonstrating commercial acumen. Sometime you will be demonstrating analysis. Sometime you will be demonstrating skepticism, and so on and so forth. So I hope you're getting an insight of the challenge, right? But obviously, you're part of the online classes where you will be prepared for this challenge. But I hope you're getting the feel. You're getting the feel of the SBL exams. And this was the actual exam which just happened on the 4th of September. This was just a 12 pages case study. So this started from the page number 2. This was Cofold Construction Company. See, the same way the examiner structured it. First, you get the introduction of the Cofold company, and then you can see the exhibits coming. Exhibit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like the specimen exam. Then on the next page, there were the requirements, what you have to do, and then the requirements continued on the page 3, 4, and 5, and then you can see the exhibits. So it was same way the specimen exam was structured. So that's the good thing, right? You have to practice the specimen exams and the real exams to know how things are structured. So is that clear to everyone in terms of the paper, the format, how to go about it, the skills, and everything, right? And the knowledge for this paper will come from F1, F4, F8, F9. So these 4 papers would fundamentally help you in the knowledge recovery. Okay, I'll be starting with my first syllabus area from today, which is governance, and I'll be starting with governance, the first syllabus area, which is the most emphasizable area in my 50% syllabus. And this is the most significant area, so I'll be spending time first on governance. Now, just before starting on with governance, I'll be taking a short 10 minutes break, but within that, before the break, I would like to ask, I would like to see your questions. Is there anything you would like to know more about the basics of SBL, or do you believe I have missed something out within the orientation phase of the Strategic Business Leader exams? I'll be showing you the website glimpse of ACCA pertaining to SBL so that I can encourage you to visit on a regular basis the website dedicated for SBL by ACCA, and you keep exploring the website. So I'll keep you interacting with the ACCA website as well throughout my sessions, and I'll be sharing a lot of documents with you which has been published by ACCA to build up your knowledge and to build up your exam temperament for December exams. If do you have any questions, so you can raise them. You have I'm giving you 5 minutes for raising of your questions, and then we'll take a 10 minutes break and we'll resume back directly with the start of the syllabus. You can raise the questions through the chat option. Okay, thank you very much, Kim, saying no questions from me at this time. Okay, so have you got an effective insight of SBL so far, Kim? Okay, thank you very much, Kim, for that. And Kabu, all is clear so far. Okay, so Kim and Kabu, both of you have any associations with P1 and P3? Or you're very fresh to the Strategic Business Leader exam? Or have you attempted or given P1 and P3 exams in your earlier past? Okay, Kabu, you're fresh, right? So go, okay, fine with that. Annalisa, she's saying I'm fresh too, so this is my third level. Okay. Kim, Kim is saying that yes, I have experience with P1 and P3. Okay, so you can relate the course, Kim, very easily. Once I start getting into the course, you can relate them with P1 and P3 very effectively, right? Because technically it's the P1 and P3 merger, but the difficult part is the exam paper. Otherwise, the knowledge part is as same as the P1 and P3. Okay, so all of you can now take a break for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll be resuming back. Okay, Moody, you're also doing it for the first time. Okay, that's great, right? So it's like 9:26 uh, a.m. the Pakistan Standard Time. So I'll be getting back to the class at 9:40 a.m. the Pakistan Standard Time, right? So it's approximately 14 minutes of break. So you can relax yourself as well. And after that, you have to listen to my theoretical lecture. Okay, off to the break, and I'll be back in 14 minutes from now. Have a nice break.